Cool. We're recording. So
Live.
we're live, baby. All right. What I want to take you through is Facebook editing for Facebook ads. And we're doing this for our KPA, our Knolly Power affiliates. But it really has a lot of different applications. Anytime you're doing advertising on Facebook, you can use some of these tips that you're going to learn today. And what we're talking about is just really tweaking because the core structure of the ad is there, but then we've got to go in and tweak, make sure it was set up correctly. And on the ad we're going to be looking at today, I actually did quite a bit of tweaking already. And I want to explain a few things of what I did last time, and then we'll do a few more things today. So do you want to give me control, or how do I, let me see. I can just click share screen. Let me see if I can figure this out. Okay, this looks like your screens. Are these my screens? Oh, these are my screens. Let me see. Share screen. Okay, here we go. Can you see me?
Yep.
Sweet. All right. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I was going to have you actually do this and walk you through it, but it'd probably be easier if I do it for this time.
Okay.
So all I'm going to do, I'm just going to go to Facebook and I'm going to go to my ads manager. Normally you could just go over here to the right. There's a little triangle icon and you go down to manage ads. What I always like to do is just bookmark it in my bookmarks tab. And that way I can just click, do a one click to get right to it. And the ads manager used to be called, well, I used to use Power Editor, but what they did was they configured everything into the, what they call the ads manager dashboard. So here you can see some of the ads that I'm actually running right now. And I'm trying to keep mine like kind of close to what the KPAs are doing, with the exception of this toolkit promo. I've got that one running at 20 bucks a day, ongoing. But the other ones are kind of like this one's $1 a day, and I think this one is $3 a day or something like that. I have to get into it and see it. But up here is where I could see all the other the KPAs that have given me access to their account. Mm-hmm. There's Jan Allen and a few other people. I'm going to show you a couple things that are a little squirrely about this, and we can see if we can get them fixed or not. But so this is Jan Allen's. So right now I think she's got all her ads turned off while we do a little tweaking.
Yep.
And if you look on, I don't know, how familiar are you with this dashboard and stuff, Lewis?
A little bit. I mean, I've made some ads myself.
Mm-hmm. That's right. So some of this stuff you can kind of understand. You can watch other YouTube videos that really explain some of these metrics and parameters and stuff. What I like to do is I just click on a campaign, and that'll open the campaign for me. And then you'll notice that when you click on it, sorry, that was a mistake. You don't just click randomly. But when you click, yeah, rule number one, yeah. So you can actually click this little edit pencil here, or when you have it highlighted, you can go over here to the right and click edit. It pretty much does the same thing, either one. You have what we call ad sets, campaigns, and ads. So it can get kind of confusing, but the way to look at it, the way I was trained on how to look at it by James Wedmore, is he said, look at the ad set or the campaign. Sorry, look at the campaign as sort of a file folder, or I'm sorry, as a file cabinet. Remember those, Lewis?
Yep.
Remember those metal? I still have some. In fact, I'm looking at one right now. I got one in the garage. It's a metal file cabinet, and so that's the campaign. Now, inside the file cabinet are what? What's inside those? And inside the file cabinet?
Just like papers of information, right?
Well, inside the file cabinet are files.
Files, yeah.
Yeah. And inside the files are what?
Then you get your papers.
Papers, right. So that's the way to that's the easiest way that I've heard to kind of understand this whole ads manager thing, because the campaign is a file cabinet. The ad set is the folder, and then the ad is the papers inside the folder. Okay. So you can have you can have a campaign with multiple ad sets that each have multiple ads in those ad sets. Now I've totally confused you, right? But what I always do is I create one campaign with one ad set and one ad for everything. That's just how I do it.
Yeah.
It just makes it easier for me. It's really more of a mental thing than anything else. So you go to edit, and you'll notice the reason that's important is you'll notice that it says that I'm editing an ad set. And then I can go over here to edit the campaign, and I can go over here to edit the ad. Okay. So when you're tweaking, you actually, when you set these up, you're setting up all three of those. And when you're tweaking, a lot of times you're tweaking all three. So when you're on the ad set, the ad set is where you can control the budget that you're spending. In this case, the daily budget is $15, which is high because, let me see, potential reach. Yeah, so I'm looking over here to the right at the potential reach, and then I'm looking at the estimated daily reach, and the potential link clicks. Now, anytime, this is real important to understand, anytime you tweak an ad, it's going to take a few days for the algorithms of Facebook to kind of catch up with it, with I would say with not just the ad, well, put it this way, the way that the ads work, when I set up a new ad, it takes about 3 to 5 days for me to really see that sweet spot of activity that I'm supposed to see. Sometimes it can take a day, sometimes a couple of days, but it's just a Facebook thing. So I don't recommend people go in and tweak their ads a lot, because it sort of creates like a reset. And so, because basically what Facebook is doing is just learning your ad. It'd be kind of like YouTube as an example. If you do a YouTube video and then you change the title of your video and you change a few things about your video, your ranking is going to slip a little bit for a couple of days until YouTube kind of like puts new data sets on each of those points of data. And then it goes into like a smooth, it's like it's rolling again. It's like taking your car to the shop. When you get it out, theoretically it's supposed to run better, but it could, take a little while for all those new parts to kind of warm up and stuff like that. So you got to think about it like you got to warm up that ad. I think that's the best way to explain it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So when you tweak an ad, you're going to probably see worse results for a couple of days until they get better. That's just the way it is, because it's like if you look here to the right, you could see here that Facebook is giving me, let me see if I can blow this up for you. So just look at this, for example, estimated daily results is 150 to 940 with 11 to 66 potential clicks. And it says your results are likely to differ from estimates. We have limited data available to calculate this estimate, so estimates may be less accurate. The accuracy of estimates is based on factors like past campaign data, the budget, and so on. So, essentially, Facebook is kind of learning your ad, and it's learning who to position your ad to. So it's the way the algorithms are written. I don't want to get too redundant on this, but the way the Facebook algorithms are written is it's kind of a learning thing. So Facebook doesn't really know who to really serve your ads up to, that would, of this 2,800 people, who are the best ones that would respond. But it does try its best based on algorithms it tries to create its best guess on who to serve those ads up to, so you get the best results for your money. That's theoretically how it works. So whenever you go in and tweak things, it's got to kind of relearn what it's supposed, what's going on, and that may take some time. I've seen it take so some of my campaigns, I've seen it take a week, but that's just the way it is. I mean, it's just part of the game. So a lot of times, what we like to do, if I have a budget of $15 as a daily budget, and I tweak a bunch of stuff, I might go back into Facebook and change that budget to $3. And then I'll gradually increase it when I think that Facebook has kind of learned, like after about 3 days, I'll take it up to maybe 5. And then I'll take a few more days to take it up to 10 and 12. And then I'll gradually take it back up to 15 after about maybe a week or maybe 10 days. Because you got to think about it. If you tell Facebook, I want to spend $100 a day, okay, it'll spend your $100, but it'll spend that $100 while it's learning. Does that make sense?
Right. And you don't prefer that. That's not the
No, because it can learn on $1 or $2. And it uses all kinds of data and parameters to figure out who to best serve your ads to.
I got a question for you.
Sure.
Does this process apply to all ads? Like, is there a learning curve at the very beginning of every ad?
Yeah. Yep.
Cool. Okay.
There is. And then when you set up new audiences, or when you set up different things with an ad, it does. In some cases, like if I just swap an image out, it probably won't, because I haven't changed any of the real key data. I just changed an image. But if I start messing with other things, which I'm going to show you in a minute, then it'll go through a relearning process, because it's trying to give you the best bang for your dollar. I mean, these are computers that are doing the thinking for us. God bless them.
Yeah.
But, and it probably honestly would probably take longer if you were talking about real human beings doing this, to try to figure out the data and who to serve your ads to. Because here's the thing, like right here, we have 2,800 people in this particular audience, and I'm going to be reaching 150 to 940 with a $15 budget. Now, obviously, you can see that if I change my budget to $100, right, it's gonna flag it first. It's like, wait, is this intentional? Because it's a huge change. But then over here to the right, the reach is now 260 to 1,600 a day. That's a big reach, because you only got 2,800 people here. You know what I mean? And so $15 is pretty good. I mean, I've tried to figure out a good rule of thumb for it. And it's been a little bit tricky for me to do in terms of how much to spend based on your audience, count. But if you got 2,800 people, and you're spending, if you're spending 10 cents a person, I think that's what, $28. See what $28 does. That gets me 190 to 1,200. So I wouldn't worry about too much on that, because I'm not even sure what those algorithms. A lot of this stuff is really guessing, to be honest with you. And you got a lot of people that have been in the space, really just doing exactly what we're doing right now, is they're tweaking. Even if you go to a person, like we've got a company we're about to hire, that we're just gonna be doing all our Facebook ad campaigns for our personal stuff. And honestly, they're just guessing, man. I mean, it's their best guess based on their experience, if that makes sense. And they have like a bank of people sitting in a control room, and they're changing those ads in real time, so they can actually look at your ad, see how it's performing, and then make adjustments. They're making tweaks throughout the day. And that's where you have the computer and the human both working together, on that. That's probably too much information, but I just wanted you to kind of understand a little bit about how this works when you go in and tweak stuff.
No, that's great. I got a quick question about ad spend, actually.
Yeah. Hold on, let me shut this door while I do that.
Sure.
All right.
Yeah, so what it looks like is Facebook's not able to promise link clicks. And so it, at least that's my assumption, when I look at how it says amount spent versus the amount you put down for the campaign over time, like it says amount cost per click, and that seems to change depending on how many clicks you get per day.
Yeah, you're talking about a different section that we can't see right now. Yeah, I know
Oh,
what you're talking about.
well, then I guess,
Are you talking about something that's on this live page here?
no, not right there, but it's related to the daily budget. Like,
Okay, that's cool. Just so we let the audience know that we're not talking about something that they can see, so they won't be trying to look for what we're talking about. I know what you're talking about. Go
yeah,
ahead.
one of our KPAs, she was like, well, why does it look like that? Like if I'm spending $15 a day, shouldn't it
Mhm.
spend $15 a day? And what my understanding is that Facebook can put the ads out in front of people, but it's pay per click.
Well, that depends on how you set up the campaign. If you set it up per click, then it will be that per click.
Okay,
There's a
gotcha.
whole bunch of ways you can set up these campaigns.
Okay.
So we can go into that here in a minute, um, but yeah, everything in Facebook is an estimate
Hmm.
because we're just guessing. Like even mathematicians haven't figured this stuff out because how can you can't really promise how many clicks you're going to get because you don't know how many people will really click it.
Right.
You can estimate based on this number of people, you'll probably get this number of clicks. And you know what Facebook does is it studies the behavior of people. So the reason I say that it takes all this data into consideration is it looks for people like, for example, if I'm going more for clicks, then it's going to look for people that actually click, like that are known to click on ads. Does that make sense? So if, like, let's say you don't really click on ads, you'll probably not see these ads here because you're not somebody that Facebook serves the ad up to, because they already know that you're not. Everything you do on Facebook is tracked. If just put it that way,
Yeah,
and it's tracked and logged, and so it's creating a profile for every single client and customer that is a Facebook member,
mhm.
and so that's kind of how the algorithms work, if you will, if I explain that correctly.
Yeah, it's interesting. That makes sense of the different ad like options at the very beginning. This is another thing that's not on this page, but
Uh-huh.
basically where you're looking for brand awareness versus
Mm-hmm.
ticket sales versus like link clicks,
Yeah.
traffic. So,
Yeah,
so
that's basically the intention of the ad. So some people just want impressions, some people want link clicks, some people want conversions, and so on. And so you can set up your ads based on your intention, you know. And that's best to be done at the beginning of setting up the ad. And again, that's that's always kind of a guess as well. You know, there's really now what I would encourage people to do is, if you're really interested in getting the most for your money on Facebook, is to go out to YouTube and watch as many videos as you can on Facebook advertising. What I did is I took a course from James Wedmore, and I spent thousands of dollars learning how to do Facebook ads with all kinds of advice and information. But just keep in mind that this stuff changes all the time because Facebook is constantly tweaking even their algorithms and how things work. So, okay, so that's enough of the backstory. I just wanted you to kind of understand that. So now that's the budget. You can put a start date, stop date. I'm not going to mess with any of that. Now I can tweak the budget. Remember, Lewis, we thought that I wasn't able to tweak the budget for the KPAs, but it does let me do it. I assume it would stick if I did it. I haven't done that because I don't want to change their budgets, but it does let me do that on my end. Okay, let's go to the audience, and I'm going to edit the audience for a sec. Now, why would you want to edit the audience? Well, this audience actually looks pretty good to me, but what some people do, and what I've seen done, is that people would have interests or behaviors versus work and job title. So if I have people that are interested in real estate, that's different than people that have a job title of real estate. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And since I want to attract active licensed real estate agents, I'm going to go with people that go with a job title within the field of what I'm looking for. You know, you can also do this by, you can click this thing that says suggestions, and we'll give you some other suggested parameters. And so, for example, I can add people that are Remax, that say that Remax is their employer, or Caldwell Banker.
KW in there?
Might be. Here's Keller Williams Realty Inc. But just keep in mind, here's Keller Williams Realty. But just keep in mind that because somebody's employed with the company, they may not actually be a licensed realtor. They might be an admin or something like that. So I typically don't go with the employer's thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I typically don't go with that. But you can do that if you choose. You can add other connection types. I don't recommend it, but like you can say people who like your page, or exclude people who like your page. You know, if you have a lot of realtors in your that like your business page, then that would make sense to do that. Otherwise, it doesn't really make sense because your parameters are pretty tight right here already. In other words, I'm only picking people in Virginia, in the state of Virginia, from 20 to 50 years old, both men and women that speak English as a primary language, and have a job title of any of these. So that's pretty much going to get you real estate agents. And what I would do with this list is I would call this real estate agents in Virginia, just so I know what we're talking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, let me request a distinction real quick. The first video that you did, you had an emphasis on cities, like pick a city in the DMA in a particular city. And now I'm seeing Virginia here. Is there a reason why Virginia is being used here, like the whole state? Or
well, when you're working with a KPA, you don't really know why they've chosen what they've chosen. So all you're doing is you're going into their account and tweaking. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Yeah, because this is a KPA, so I would have to get with the KPA and ask her, you know, why did she choose Virginia as an area that she wanted to target? It really doesn't matter. Okay. And you could choose the whole state of Texas, but a lot of times what happens is if you choose, and what I'm going to do, I'm not even going to save these updates because I think this looks okay. But yeah, the Virginia is probably a small enough state that that it probably would be about the same as maybe like a Chicago or something, you know. But you can. It doesn't really matter. You can do what they call a city or a demographic market area. You could do that or not. It doesn't matter. So.
Okay.
Hold on one second. Pete, we're making a video. Could you do that out here, outside? Yeah. Sorry, my wife is going through the file cabinet there. So that's, let's see. So that's just the audience. I'm not really going to change that. I looked at it and I decided not to make any changes there. A lot of times when you're doing tweaks with a KPA, you're gonna see things that look fine, and so you're not gonna mess with it. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I mean, if she goes to a specific city in Virginia, it might do better for her. But I'm not gonna say that it would or wouldn't. because I've done whole states before as well, especially the small states. I do the whole state versus a particular city, because sometimes a city would just give you it's just not enough people. Like the potential reach is only 2,800 as it is, so that's not very many. I like automatic placements. You could do edit placements as well. And when you do edit placements, you can tell it exactly where you want these placed. So you could say, I don't want it in instant articles. I don't want it in right column, and so on, right? I tend to lean toward this automatic placements. But again, that's going to be, I think that suggestions will wane for one or the other as Facebook makes changes. So I always recommend people to go ahead and, do your own research and decide like how you want to set this up. It says this is recommended, but again, now what placements are, you understand what placements are, Lewis? Does that make sense?
Yeah, where they're placed on the site of all the options available.
Correct. Yeah, where your ads are going to be seen. Like where this comes in play is if I had like let's say for example, if I had an app that I was promoting and it was an iOS only app, then I would maybe want to just say I want it only to go to mobile devices, for example, like specific mobile devices, all mobile, that's in the next set. See, they move this around, so now they have the mobile devices in a separate section. So you can go Android or iOS, or feature phones only. In my case, what I'm doing is I'm selecting, what I like to select is automatic placements. And then it's only under edit placements that you have the option of the mobile devices. But like if you only wanted to show this ad to people on their iPhone, you could deselect all of these and then just check iOS only. And then you just say iPhones or iPods or whatever. And then, and once you make those changes, then, for example, theoretically, your ad can only be delivered to iPhones, So there's those kind of things in there that you can go in and do. I don't normally mess with a lot of that. I just go straight to the automatic placements. And I kind of let Facebook do that for me. If you want to get a little bit more technical, you can, and that option's there for you. Now let's look at the optimization. Did you have any questions on that, Lewis? Does that make sense?
No, that's clear.
Okay. Now look at optimization. So right now we have it optimized for link clicks. This is what we were talking about earlier. It says we'll deliver your ads to the right people to help you get the most link clicks. But then there's also landing page views. We'll deliver your ads to people who are more likely to click on your ads link and load the landing page. Okay. So I think I'm going to change it to that. Now there's another one that I kind of like as well, which is daily unique reach. Okay. So what that one does is it would deliver. Now, again, these different options are all based on the kind of intention that you set when you first put your ad together. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So it gives you these 4 different options under the, I think ours is kind of set up for link clicks. But you can make little tweaks and distinctions in that. So daily unique reach is cool because what that does is it says we're going to deliver your ads to people once a day. Okay. So sometimes I play around with that one because what that one will do is like right now it says it's going to hit me 180. My reach is 180 to 1100, but it's only going to show that ad to those people once. And then the next day it'll show it again. Now, if I set it for link clicks, that person might see the ad 10 times a day. or whatever Facebook thinks is appropriate. So sometimes I've seen better results just by going with switching it to daily unique reach for a while and trying it that way. And then another one is landing page views. That's another cool one. So what on this ad, what I would want to do is I'd want to change for, hold on, somebody's trying to call me. Right now we have it to link clicks and it's not performing as well for her. So what I would do is I would change it to either landing page views or daily reach. Now look at impressions. Impressions says that they'll deliver the ads to people as many times as possible. We just gonna bombard them until they make a decision like, stop showing me this ad, or they click on it.
Yeah, because they can opt out, right, at some point.
Yeah,
right?
they can. They can, there's like a little link that they can click that they don't want to see that ad, and then they don't see it anymore, which is good for you because they're self-selecting themselves out of the,
right.
And that means you don't have to pay money for those people. That's good. A lot of people like to go for link clicks, because they feel like it's more like, I'm actually paying for the clicks that I'm getting. But some of these others can't be overlooked, man, because you might see an increase of actual, even though this says it's for link clicks, if you go daily reach, you might actually get more link clicks, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
The reason why you would want to use impressions would be like, let's say if you have a time-stamped event, like a seminar or something like that that's coming up,
yeah.
Like when the KPA if they market, our seminars, then because the KPAs get paid for people that attend our events and buy stuff from the event, or even before the event or after the event. So the event might be in a week, so they might go for impressions because, man, they're trying to serve as many impressions as possible within that window of time, So what I like to tell people is play around with these, give each one of them like a week, and then just track your results and see what you're getting the best on. Is it daily unique reach or is it link clicks? She's already had it on link clicks. She didn't really like that, so I would go straight to landing page views. It's already set to lowest cost, and you get charged on an impression. That changes too. So look, you can see that actually both of these are getting charged on an impression. Let's go to more options. You can click that and go to cost per click. See what I did there? So she had it on link clicks, and it's set to lowest cost. Now, another thing that you have to understand with, and I said 30 minutes on the video, we'll go over a little bit. I don't want to make these too long so that they'll actually get watched. But another thing to understand is on this lowest cost thing, what you got to understand is that what is happening is it's like a bid system. So Facebook doesn't want to show too many ads to the same people, or what'll happen is they'll get too ad heavy and people won't use Facebook as much. That's been proven on other platforms that if you get too many ads, people they don't really like the experience as much. And Facebook is really keen on having a great user experience. So what happens is, like, let's say right now we're targeting realtors in Virginia. Let's say that there's 10 other people that are trying to hit realtors in Virginia. So now we're bidding against those other people. So what happens is, and they may have different products and services, but Facebook isn't going to show all 10 of our ads at the same time to the same people, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So what it's doing is it says, okay, what kind of bid strategy do you want? Well, I've got it set for lowest cost, but I could also set a bid cap and say, I don't want to spend more than $2 per link click. Because if somebody else has it bid up to $3 a click, then even though I have it set for lowest cost, my link clicks might cost more than I want them to. You know, I don't like to spend more than $1 a click personally. So again, this is too much information, but I want you to kind of understand how this stuff works. So when you go in and tweak, you can kind of understand a little bit of this, because really you're just guessing. It's not like you're scientifically going in and doing anything. You're just saying, you know what, link clicks isn't working for me. I'm going to try landing page views. I want to do lowest cost. I'm going to get charged per impression. I'm cool with that. And I'm going to do standard delivery. Or I could do accelerated delivery. Now, accelerated delivery, what that'll do is it'll spend up your budget as quickly as possible until your money's gone for that day. What a standard budget will do is it'll kind of space that budget out throughout the day. To be honest with you, I haven't tested accelerated, but accelerated might actually get you better results. It may not get better results. Again, these are all things that I encourage people to go out, and if they really care about learning this deeply, I haven't invested the time to learn all this stuff deeply, because it's about the time you got it down pat, it's going to change. Because since I've been using the Facebook editor, it's changed probably 3 or 4 times. That's when the last year and a half. All this stuff has been tweaked a little, and it's all to make it easier for us, which is cool. But by the time you kind of learn something, you have to, it changes. So don't get bogged down on a lot of this stuff. You know, just have fun, play around with it. I mean, you don't want to have too much fun spending your money, right? But that's why I always tell people start with $1 a day, $5, $10. And if you're seeing results, then you can start to add more of an ad spend to it. I think that's good for this video, and I'll see if you have any questions. But I wanted to, before we do, I wanted to just show you, so because we're playing around in ad sets. There's also, you can go to the campaign itself. There's not a whole lot to change there, but you can set like a spending limit. And you can go to the ad. That's the next place we're going to go. We'll do another video at some point, and we'll look at some tweaks that can be made on the ad itself. So let's go back to ad set. And any questions, Louis, before we shut off this video? My wife can come back and look through these files she needs to go through.
I think this is clear.
Yeah. Clear as mud. All right, my friend. So what do we need to do next, Louis? We can keep the tape rolling while we talk about that. So, we'll go ahead and post this video, but I want to teach you the ad sets. We'll set a time to do that. We'll do that off the call, off the recording. And what else do we need to do in terms of this, like to better help you understand this stuff?
I mean, just the other portions, just the campaign and the individual ad. I think
okay.
Individual pieces there.
Yeah, and I would say go out and check out some YouTube videos. And if you find any good ones, you can post those out for the KPAs. I mean, the last thing I want the KPAs to do is get a master's degree in Facebook advertising. But I do understand when you're starting to spend your money and you're not getting the results that you anticipate. And I think another thing that bears mentioning that we talked about yesterday on our call is that all of these people that you're adding to the list or that are clicking on and signing up for anything, even if it's a free thing, those people are going into our list. And anytime they buy something, anytime in the future, whether it be next month, next 6 months, or a year from now, you're going to get the credit. And anytime that we put out a new campaign and say, hey, we've just come up with this new workshop or this new series or this new tour or this new whatever, and somebody buys into it that's on the list already, if you were what we call the procuring cause, or you're the originator of getting that person on my list, you're going to get paid as a KPA. So list building is just a good thing to do, period. Don't just try to spend money and make money the next day. The main thing you want to be focused on is getting people into the list, and then let them buy on their own schedule. Let them buy and convert on their own timetable, because we're going to be doing the job. That's my job, is to convert them. And I'm going to be doing that every single week, every single month, you know, in the future for years to come, you know. And so I just wanted to throw that in as well.
Yeah, you called it the lifetime value of the customer.
That's right. That's right. What's, you know, the lifetime value of a customer? And we actually there's workshops where they do this, and you try to figure out what's your lifetime value of a client or a customer. And the lifetime value, a lot of times people look at the next sale, but what you really want to look at is the lifetime of the customer. And so if that person will spend $100, $200, $300 over their lifetime, or $1,000, you know, that's what you want to look for, more than, hey, how can I make the next $100 sale? You know, hopefully we're going to be selling, like all the people on my list. I want to help to get them to a quantum 10X level. And then I want to help them get their people to that level. But you got to think, the more money that they're making, the more money they're going to spend, or the more that they're going to want to invest in their training with other products and services that we come out with. So God bless. Until next time, love you.